Hi everyone, welcome back to the Reclaimed Ranch. My name is Tara, and in today's video I just have 3 random things that I pulled from my stash from thrift stores that I need to get done. And I've got this little bird here. Somebody tried to paint it, did a horrible job, and so I'm going to take this joint compound. I've seen this done by, her name is Tracy from Rural Refurb. She is a home DIYer from Sussex, England. I love listening to her. But she does this technique to a lot of her home decor, and it's gorgeous. So I'm going to give it a go. Just going to put this joint compound on. Now I probably should have put like a matte clear coat over the top of the bird first because it's so slick. But this joint compound does, it does adhere to it. It just takes a couple of coats. So I'm just going to blob it on and try and get most of that blue covered in the first coat, and then I'll let it dry overnight. And then when I come back to it, I'm going to need to sand all the little really pointy peaks and things like that, trying to make sure that the bird still has a form, that it still looks like a bird. Because you could put a lot of this stuff on and you'll just lose all the detail. So sorry my head is in the way constantly. But you can see how it's so slick, it just kind of smears it around. So I'm just gently trying to put it on there, just enough to keep it. And this is the next day. You can see all the little pokey parts and stuff. So I'm going to take a very fine grit piece of sandpaper and just lightly sand it. I should have been wearing a mask during this because it is very dusty, and I noticed right away that I was sneezing. And so definitely would recommend wearing a mask. And I do wear gloves just because it's so sticky and I have sensory issues. I don't like having dirty hands. So I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on. And again, I'm trying not to do it too thick so I don't lose all that detail where the wings are and where the beak is and things like that. But I do want to give it a really nice organic look. So I'm just trying to tap down all of the peaks as I go so I don't have to sand as much. And that made it a lot easier in round 2. I do have to have a thick enough coat because what I'm going to do next is she adds all different kinds of herbs to her joint compound to give it texture and color. So I've grabbed just some cheap Walmart crushed chili peppers, and I also use some nutmeg. You can use cinnamon, you can use oregano to give that green, and all kinds of stuff. But I just chose those 2 because I did want to have kind of some reds and oranges in the color as well as some brown. And obviously it smells delicious when you use the food, so that was a bonus on this part as well. So like I said, I just got like the cheap $1 nutmeg and crushed pepper. This definitely is not in my food stash, so don't worry. This is just for DIY crafting. And then I just take my finger and kind of stick some on there and then place them randomly all over. Now you can leave the flakes in there, but what I like to do is I like to leave it in there until it dries, and then I pick the flakes out and it leaves a beautiful like burnt orange color. It's so pretty. And then because this piece is so small, those flakes kind of overtake it a little bit. But if you have like a big lamp or a big vase, you can leave the red peppers in there and it would look really pretty. So with the nutmeg, I just gently shake it in little areas, different areas, and then pat it down with my finger to kind of make it stick into that compound. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take a little bit of compound on my finger and then lightly tap over the entire bird again. That's going to mute some of the color as well as kind of push it down in and keep it on the bird, if that makes sense. That way I won't have to really, I can seal it if I wanted this to go outside, but it's going to be inside decor. So I figured I wouldn't have to worry about that too much. But man, was this just so much fun because it smelled so good. Kind of got me into a baking mood, but anyway, you just do it to your preference of the color. And like I said, when I put that joint compound on, it does mute down those colors quite a bit. So if you don't like how like here I go right here. I put a little bit on and then stuck some more on. But if you don't like how much color you have, you can always just put more joint compound on, or even take a cream colored paint and paint over it. You can do that at the very end. I didn't show myself doing it, but at the very end I did go in with a couple of colors of my fusion paint to give it just a little more dimension, and it turned out really cool. You can see I'm just lightly patting it. I'm not trying to push anything around too hard. I'm just adding a little bit to keep what's there in place. And then this next project, I have this cowbell, but it's way too shiny for my liking. When I think of a cowbell, I think of an old farm where it'd be like cast iron looking or rusty crusty from being outside. So we're gonna go ahead and take my finger sander and sand this up, get it nice and scratched up so that the paint will adhere. I'm gonna go in with my Dixie Belle patina paint in bronze this time. I am obsessed with this stuff, you guys. It just gives such an authentic rusty look to things. Like, you'll be amazed what this thing looks like at the end. And so I haven't tried the bronze before, but I thought it would make a pretty coppery color underneath. So I'm going to go in with one coat, let it dry, and then I do, I think I did 2 coats, yeah, 2 coats of this. So I let the first one dry, and then I did a second coat, but then when it was still wet is when I went ahead and did the sprays. And this first go around, I sprayed way too much. It's just all trial and error, though. You don't know how this stuff's going to turn out until you do it, but I ended up spraying it way too much, and it just looked like the blue patina was just like it had just poured rain on it. I mean, it could have been a cool effect, but see, it was like, okay, a little over the board on the patina. But the good thing is that there's always a solution. So we're going to go in with the patina paint and iron now. We're going to make some dimension and depth. So I went ahead and just took a natural bristle brush and just stippled on in different areas, because I still love the brown or the bronze patina coming through. That was just gorgeous. But I'm just going to give it a little depth on the edges, the corners, and take some of that blue patina away. Oh, there's my big head again. But anyway, and then I'm just lightly going to spray this time. I don't want it to run like it did last time, so I'm going to take my blue towel and blot it down to keep it from running. And then just take the blue. It blobs anyway, so lightly press on the blue and then tap it back. And it's turned out really, really good. Oh, goodness. Get my head out of the way. Sorry, guys. All right, so yeah, that's, you gotta let that sit for quite a few hours and let that work its magic. And so this third project is a rolling pin. I have about 22 of these, so I think I need to get some done. So I'm gonna go in with casement, and we're gonna do a decoupage. So when you decoupage, you always want a light or white base so that that paper will pop its color on whatever surface you're doing. If you do it without a white base, then you'll still see it, but it'll be way more muted. So sometimes it's kind of cool to have that effect. But for this, I have a really light paper with light purples and things like that. So I need as much color to pop as possible. So I just go in with one coat. I'm going to go ahead and dry that. And then I'm going to use my Fusion Transfer and Decoupage Gel. And I'm going to decoupage that paper, which they're both on my website. So if you're interested, you can purchase those. And so what I did was I previously cut the paper down to the right size. So you just kind of roll it along, and that way you can come easily to the edge and know where you need to stop. So I'm going to do a starter strip, and then I'm going to seal that down, that edge down, and then I'll roll it backwards and continue to feed the decoupage paper forward. So I just do it in little tiny sections, and that way I can squeeze as much of the air bubbles out and keep the wrinkles down. And this is a rice paper, so hardly do you get any of those anyway. That's why I love working with rice paper. So it makes it super simple. And then I go in, my trick is to go in with my heat gun and work out the rest of the trapped air underneath. And it works just wonderful. So I did leave it long on the edges, and then what I'm going to do is let that dry. After I put another top coat of the gel on, I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to take my little finger sander, which is in my affiliate links as well. Those are just super handy to have as a crafter. Just take that, and I'm going to remove the rest of that excess paper. So there's that little finger sander, and I believe it was like 180 grit paper, 180 or 120. So I'm going to go in with Fusion's Mist, which is a really light purple blue color. And I'm going to just paint the ends and the handles with this. And then after I dried the paint, it looked a little too light to me. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go in with my Fusion's Midnight Blue color, and it's going to pull some more of that darker blue purple from the lilac on the base of it, and that ends up contrasting way better, I think. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think, if you would prefer to have the lighter color or after you take a look at the darker color. I just think it stands out a little bit more. But this is always a fun way to do a rolling pin. They usually come pretty cheap at the thrift stores, and you can usually always find them there. So if you want to do like gifts for somebody, they're great for Mother's Day, for birthdays, for the baker in your family, giving them a gift just for some home decor is always fun to do. So let me know if you've ever given a gift from doing a rolling pin, or if you have rolling pins at home that you do as well. I'd love to see pictures of them. You can put them in the comments below. And here's where I took that Midnight Blue. You can see I just did a really light coat over that mist color, so it still kind of comes through as the distressing part of it. And then I'm just going to kind of dry brush the ends and kind of just give it a two-tone look. But I do like it having more blue than the light. So here are the final products. This is that rolling pin. See what a difference that makes to have that darker color over the top, and it brings out the beautiful blues and that lilac there. So this, I think, I think this is going to be my favorite for today. It wasn't super hard. It's an easy project to do, but there's so many different ones you can make. I mean, there's some for spring and summer and fall and winter, and you can put people's names on them, and there's just too many things to do with them. So here's that bird. I think he turned out pretty cool, and love the organic look of it, and looks like some kind of a stone. So that's kind of fun as well. And I'm sure you can put all kinds of different herbs and stuff to make more dimension and interest to look at. So yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my new favorite techniques anyway. And here's the bell. So it turned out better than the first go round, for sure. It's toned down quite a bit. But I love all the different patinas. It does look like it has been sitting outside in the rain and the weather, like it's supposed to look. And it works really well. Every time I pick it up, my dogs go crazy. So let me know what was your favorite, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Bye.